PC and laptop ports explained. What are all those connections? I'm Huey Poplock. Got a new PC or a laptop and wondering what all the ports and connections are for? Here are some of the most common modern connection types, plus some of the older and deprecated connectors you might find on older hardware. Data connectors. These connectors are designed primarily with data transfer in mind. They may also carry audio, power, or a network signal too. There's the USB Type-C. The new ubiquitous connector USB-C is a fully reversible 24-pin digital data connector. It can be used as a USB data port, including USB 3.1 and above, as a video connection using DisplayPort alternate mode or HDMI alternate mode, as part of the Thunderbolt 3 or 4 specification, or as a means of charging peripherals such as USB power delivery. Not all USB-C cables are built alike, so make sure you pick a good one. As we race towards a future where USB-C dominates, you can upgrade your older cables with cheap adapters. The Thunderbolt. The modern Thunderbolt 3 and 4 ports share the USB-C connector, but they're not necessarily the same. Many computers feature a small lightning bolt symbol next to the Thunderbolt ports, and some laptops, like the 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro, designate all USB-C ports as Thunderbolt connectors. Thunderbolt is an active technology, which means it has electrical circuitry in its connectors that are capable of high transfer speeds up to 80 gigabit per second on Thunderbolt 4. Older Thunderbolt 1 and 2 connectors were different, featuring a non-reversible connector. You can buy adapters for those devices for use with modern Thunderbolt ports, though the speed remains capped at the oldest specification. Thunderbolt has some neat tricks that USB specifications lack, like the ability to daisy chain connections. What about Thunderbolt versus USB-C? Well, the main difference between Thunderbolt and USB-C is that Thunderbolt has USB-C capabilities. However, USB-C does not have Thunderbolt capabilities. The Thunderbolt port is designed similarly to the USB-C connector. However, if you connect a Thunderbolt connection to a USB-C port, your possibilities will be limited. Thunderbolt technology offers a maximum data transfer rate of up to 40 gigabits per second, while USB-C offers a maximum data transfer rate of up to 10 gigabits per second. This means that the Thunderbolt is more than 4 times faster than USB-C. If you need to transfer large files quickly, Thunderbolt is the better option. USB Type-A. Deprecated but still present on many devices, USB-A is what many of us simply refer to as USB for most of our lives. It's a non-reversible conductor that was first introduced in 1996 to replace slower and more cumbersome connectors like serial and parallel ports. Over the course of USB's lifespan, transfer rates have gone from 1.5 microbits per second to 80 gigabits per second in USB 4 version 2.0. USB-A connectors were deprecated after USB 3.1 in 2013, which means the maximum speed they're capable of is 10 gigabits per second. Many modern devices still use a USB-A port for compatibility, but you're better off buying and using USB-C where possible. Ethernet, IEEE 802.3. An Ethernet port connects your computer to a wired network connection. Standardized in 1983, Ethernet began life with paltry speeds of just under 3 megabits per second, with the latest standard capable of 400 gigabits per second with speeds of 1.6 terabytes per second expected by 2025. To take advantage of the higher speed, you'll need the network interface on your computer, a router, and cabling to all be compatible with your desired speed. The plug is often referred to as an RJ45. Power connectors. The following is a selection of common power connectors that you can find on a desktop and notebook computer. Be aware that USB-C, listed above or talked about earlier, has become a common power connector for many laptops and peripherals. IEEE 6320 C13 and 14, the Kettle Plug, found on the back of most desktop computers and many game consoles. This connector is informally known as the Kettle Plug for its use in other consumer electronics. They also are commonly used for amplifiers, audio and video equipment, monitors, and other peripherals. You never knew it had a name. IEEE 6320 C5 and C6, the Clover-Leaf. Like the Kettle Plug, the Clover-Leaf is another common power adapter, but one that's more commonly found on external laptop power adapters. The C6 male connector connects it to a C5 socket on the power brick itself, with a plug on the other end to connect to main power. There is a thinner adapter cable that connects to the laptop. The DC barrel connector, available on a vast range of sizes, a DC or direct current barrel connector or jack is used to connect an external laptop power adapter to the laptop in question. These are less common than they once were since the arrival of USB power delivery, but many laptops still use them. An Apple-specific power connector, MagSafe, made its return with the 2021 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro revision, with the 2022 MacBook Air redesign, also including support for the format. The connector uses a magnet to hold it securely in place, with the magnet connection easily breaking away if the cord gets snagged, preventing your laptop from being dragged off the desk. MagSafe also appeared on older Apple computers, but disappeared for around 5 years, starting in 2016. MacBook models with MagSafe were introduced in 2021 and later used MagSafe 3, which is a different shape to the MagSafe 2, which launched in 2012, which itself is incompatible with the original MagSafe that debuted in 2006. Video connectors. Want to carry video from your computer to a monitor, television, or projector? You'll probably be using one of the following. What you're seeing on the screen is a VGA connector, but we'll talk about that in a moment. DisplayPort. Commonly found on computer monitors, but not televisions, graphic cards, and laptops, the DisplayPort, or DP connector, is a non-reversible 20-pin digital video connection. The standard was first released in 2006 as a means to replace DVI, VGA, and other outdated connectors. Like USB, the standard has evolved over the years to support higher bandwidth connections that allow for greater resolutions and faster refresh rates. DP 1.4, introduced in 2016, is arguably the most common iteration, supporting up to 32.4 gigabits per second, plus optional DSC, or display stream compression. DP 2.0 launched in late 2022 with a bandwidth of up to 80 gigabits per second. In addition to video, the standard can also transport audio and USB data. HDMI Type A, short for High Definition Multimedia Interface. HDMI is one of the most ubiquitous digital video connector in the world. Utilizing a 19-pin connector, HDMI was first introduced in 2002 and has gone through several iterations, introducing higher bandwidth capacities for greater resolutions, frame rates, and additional features like 3D and HDR video. The HDMI 2.1 standard caps out at 48 gigabits per second, capable of up to 10K video at 100 Hertz and a DSC display stream compression. The standard is necessary to take advantage of 4K HDR video at 120 Hertz on consoles like PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and graphics cards like the NVIDIA 30 and 40 series. It also includes built-in support for variable refresh rate, or VRR, using HDMI adaptive sync. HDMI transfers video, audio, Ethernet, and CEC, consumer electronics control, data for controlling other connected devices. Technologies like ARC, which is audio return channel, are built on the HDMI standard. There's the standard HDMI, the mini, and the micro. VGA, outdated but still found on many recent devices from the last 5 years or so, particularly TVs. VGA stands for Video Graphics Array, and its 15-pin analog video connector was especially common on chunky old CRT monitors, projectors, and early flat-screen LCDs. Though old, VGA managed to stick around long past its due as a PC port on many smart TVs. Audio connectors. Audio is now often bundled with video connections like HDMI and DisplayPort, but dedicated audio connections are still present on most computers with both input and output. Commonly used for 2-channel stereo audio and microphone input, the 3.5 millimeter jacks are common on all types of computers. You'll find them on the back of a desktop, often with separate output and input ports, on the front of the PC cases, and on laptops with mixed-use ports. Typically speaking, green ports are used for stereo output, while the red ports signify a microphone input. These outputs are integrated digital to analog converters, or DACs, which make it easy to connect your computer to an external speaker or an old amplifier. Optical, or SPDIF, and TOSLINK. The optical cables carry a digital audio signal using a special fiber optic cable. TOSLINK is short for Toshiba Link and is named after the company that created the standard. SPDIF stands for Sony Philips Digital Interface, and it refers to the software component of the standard. Though they deliver a cleaner sound than analog connectors and are not subject to interference from radio frequencies or ground loops, optical does have some drawbacks. Plastic optical cables are usually limited to 5 or 10 meters in length due to the potential for signal degradation, and cables can become damaged from being bent or compressed. The Kensington Lock. Not really a port at all, a Kensington Lock slot allows for you to attach a keyed or combination lock to your laptop to prevent it from being stolen. Some outdated or uncommon ports. The following ports may be found on older hardware, but are rarely included on the modern devices. The PS2 connections, IEEE 1394 FireWire, DVI, parallel ports. The port got its name from the method of data transfer, where bits of data could be transferred simultaneously in parallel. Parallel was eventually superseded by USB, particularly USB 2.0 and integrated network interfaces. The PC card. Serial ports. Like parallel, serial got its name from the method of data transfer, where data is sent and received sequentially rather than simultaneously. And here are many ports on the side of a lot of the laptops. The optical connector. As a summary, here are the most common laptop ports. PC and laptop ports explained. What are all those connections? I'm Huey Poplock.